Hi everybody, it's Tatiana and this is Perfect Peace by Daniel Black. This is my second time recording this review. I mentioned in the last show, I think, or no, it was on Dee Dee's Instagram live about a week or so ago maybe, that I thought I'd posted the review of this book, but I didn't. I'd recorded a review of the book, and then when I went back and looked at the review, it was all over the place because I hadn't yet written out my thoughts about the book, so I was trying to go off the top of my head, and this is not the kind of book where I can do that. I have discovered after watching that review for editing, because it was garbage. So we're going to do this again. Very briefly, the synopsis of the story is Perfect is raised as a girl by her mother. For 8 years, she is raised believing that she is a girl. Everything that she has is affiliated with being a girl, and then on her, or shortly after her 8th birthday, her mother tells her, "You're a boy. I wanted a daughter, so I made you my daughter, but you're a boy." And when that takes place and the effects of that change blows up across the entire family as well as the entire community that they live in. I don't really think I need to talk about the plot per se, other than to say the story is very well written, but there's so much that it touches on and speaks about and speaks to, particularly dealing with gender roles as well as sexuality and what that means to people who are dealing with that issue, as well as people who are on the outside looking in to that. Once, of course, this whole announcement is made, this is in Jim Crow Midwest, and so the similarities between racial relations in this area versus the South, which is where I grew up and where I live, and seeing some of those same instances occur, because a lot of times the mindset, even though my family is from the southern Midwest, a lot of times some of the mindset of people who are born and raised in the South is that Midwest thinking, or the further west you go, the more progressive thinking was along the lines of race relations, and that's not the case for this little small town. But also, what else this book touches on is the importance of reconciliation, the effect that it has not just on you, but those you are in relationship with, when you don't have the opportunity to, or pass on the opportunity to, reconcile difficult things that have happened in your life, and how you knowingly and unknowingly affect the lives of other people in very negative ways, simply because you refuse to reconcile both within yourself and with the person that you have this issue against. And reconciliation is something that people always have a problem with seeing to fruition, either because of their stubbornness or the stubbornness of the other person, or simply time, space, life, death. But it touches on that, as well as the effects of colorism and what that meant to the mindset of these people. Like, nobody is really described outside of being either light skin or dark skin. Those are really the only descriptions that you have for a lot of these characters, and those who are considered ugly are the ones who are dark-skinned versus the ones who are light-skinned. When Perfect is born, Perfect is beautiful because Perfect has this light-colored skin versus the rest of her brothers, her siblings, and her father and her mother, who are all black and ugly. There's a statement that's made in the book about the mother, Emma Jean, marrying the father, Gus, and Emma Jean was so ugly because she was so dark, so she basically married the ugliest man in town because he was the blackest man in town, and that was the only man that would accept her or that would take her. And it's not just Emma Jean's mindset, like that's what was bred into the mind of Emma Jean when she was younger. So she was a product of her own environment, as well as her kids and the kids in the area that they live in. And then you also have the effects of Perfect's, as I said before, change on the community and the town that she lives in. Perfect is in school, and one day Perfect comes to school and she has this long hair and ponytails, and then the next day Perfect comes to school and she's got a boy cut and she's wearing trousers instead of a dress. And the effects of that change on Perfect, as well as far as the hardships that she has to deal with the kids in school, with the ugly people, and not ugly physically, but ugly mentality, the ugliness of society and the minds of people that Perfect has to deal with. The older, and it doesn't go away. Like, the older he gets, it's still a problem, and it's still unacceptable. But for everything that this book gives you as far as dealing with people overall, perceptions, reconciliations, problems, solutions to problems, things that we impress and put onto other people because they're our issue, not their issue. What stuck out to me the most was how Perfect never got mad. Like, the fact that he really didn't seem to have the capacity to be as angry as he had a right to be, because of what had been placed upon him, and then what the fallout once everything is, put for the public to see. It's just a really good look at people and how people deal with things. And even though this is set during the 40s, a lot of these mindsets and these thoughts are still present in the minds of people today, both dealing with colorism, with race, with sexuality, with gender roles. It's all still present today. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I tabbed and sticky noted comments like all through this book. There were so many thoughts and things that I had as I was reading it, and I could not do it. So, yeah, that's all that I'm going to say. If you have not read this book, I cannot say enough how much you should read it. Even if it's a difficult book for you to read, it's still a good book to read. After I finished this, I wanted to read more by Daniel Black, and I actually ended up going to a library book sale the day after I finished this, and there was one book by him at that book sale, and I picked it up. And I can't wait to get to it, because this was just it was way more than I expected. So that's all that I'm going to say. I said that already. I'm going to say it again and mean it. Thank you all for watching, and I hope you have a good weekend, whenever you see this video. Peace out.